Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going all the way into alien encounters.
Alien encounters, exactly.
And wow, we got a huge stack of research on this.
We do.
Articles and historical accounts and even some declassified documents.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all looked up at the stars and wondered around.
Oh, of course. It's a fundamental question, isn't it?
It is. Are we alone? Yeah, are we alone?
Huh.
And we're not going to be able to answer that definitively today.
No. Well,
We can dive into some of the most fascinating accounts and just see what we can uncover.
yeah, examine those intriguing details.
Yeah.
It's a question that has captivated humanity for centuries.
It really has.
Yeah.
And it goes way beyond, like the stereotypical
What?
grainy UFO photos or little green men.
Exactly.
This is woven into our history,
Yeah.
like all the way
And
back.
part of our collective psyche.
It is.
This fascination with the unknown. The possibility of otherworldly beings.
Yeah,
It's reflected in our ancient myths and legends.
totally. Our cave painting.
Even the earliest astronomical observations.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's go way back to 218 BC,
Okay.
Roman period. Phantom ships in the sky.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Like seeing that with
No frame of reference.
no frame of reference.
No context.
Yeah, it must have been mind-blowing.
Absolutely. And it just shows you the enduring power of these experiences.
Yeah,
Even without the language or the scientific framework. To make sense of it.
to even interpret it.
Right. People throughout history have felt compelled to document these strange and unexplainable sightings, and these
Yeah.
early accounts often set the stage for
Yeah.
themes that we see in modern UFO reports centuries later.
It's so interesting. So it's like there are these recurring motifs.
Yes.
Like these almost archetypal
Exactly.
images that keep,
Archetypal images.
popping up across cultures
Yeah.
and time periods. Like
The KT-97 Texas airship crash.
oh yeah,
People were speculating about alien spacecraft.
even back then.
Even back then. Yeah, it's fascinating to consider why certain images or narratives just resonate so strongly
Right.
across generations.
Is it our shared human imagination?
Yeah.
Or could there be something more to it?
Right. Okay, so let's jump ahead now to the 20th century.
Okay.
Things start to get really interesting, especially in 1947.
Yeah.
This is where we get the term flying saucer.
Flying saucer, that's right.
Enters our vocabulary thanks to pilot Kenneth Arnold
Ken Arnold.
and his sighting near Mount Rainier.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, UFOs weren't just, abstract concepts,
Abstract
just blurry lights.
Blurry lights, right?
They had a shape,
They had an image.
an image that captured the public imagination.
It really did. Arnold's sighting seemed to trigger a wave of similar reports.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like a collective awareness had been awakened,
Mm-hmm.
and people were suddenly more attuned
Yeah.
to the possibility of something extraordinary.
Yeah.
Totally. And of course, we can't talk about 1947 without mentioning Roswell.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Ultimate
Yeah.
UFO conspiracy theory.
It is, crash spacecraft, alien bodies, government cover-ups.
It has it all?
It has it all. I think what's really interesting about Roswell is it shines a light on government secrecy
Yes.
and how it fuels speculation and mistrust.
It really highlights that tension
Uh-huh.
between official narratives and public perception.
Yes. Even though the military insisted it was a weather balloon,
Right.
a lot of people remained skeptical.
Of course.
And that lack of transparency really created this...
A fertile ground for all these conspiracy theories.
Right. The more they tried to downplay it, the more people were like,
that.
wait a minute, what's going on? It became this symbol of government distrust.
Yes, it did.
And it continues to fascinate people.
To this day.
To this day.
Absolutely.
And then there's Project Blue Book.
Project Blue.
A real official U.S. Air Force investigation.
That ran for almost 2 decades.
Wow.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it shows that the government was taking these reports seriously, to some extent at least.
Yeah.
I mean, they dedicated resources and personnel to investigating UFOs.
Yeah, it suggests a level of intrigue
It really does.
that goes beyond simple dismissal.
Simple dismissal,
It
exactly.
makes you wonder, what did they find?
What did they find? What conclusions did they reach?
Right. And it wasn't just the U.S. government.
No.
Paying attention. We have reports of UFO sightings from all over the world.
That's right.
This is
A global
global experience. So we've got ancient Roman sightings,
Yeah.
19th century airships, and then this surge of activity. in the mid-20th century.
Exactly.
This recurring theme of unexplainable objects in the sky.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder
Yeah.
if there's a connection.
A pattern.
If there's a pattern that we're just beginning to recognize. Right, before we get too deep into that, let's talk about the different types of encounters. You know, the close encounters of the first, second, and third kind.
First, second, and third kind. It's a little bit of pop culture trivia,
Right.
but it's actually a useful framework
It is.
for understanding,
The varying levels.
the varying level
varying action.
that people claim to have had.
Yeah. With UFOs.
UFOs.
No close encounter of the first kind
A close encounter of the first kind.
is simply observing a UFO.
Observing a
Is
UFO.
like seeing a strange light in the sky.
Yes. No physical evidence left behind, just that visual observation.
Right. And then you have close encounters of the second kind.
Close encounters of the second kind.
There's some kind of physical evidence.
Some kind of physical evidence, that's right. Burn marks on the ground,
Burn marks,
radiation readings,
strange radiation readings.
interference with electronic equipment.
Yeah. So we're moving from simple observation to something a bit more concrete.
One more concrete, yeah.
But the real mind bender is the close encounter of the third kind.
The close encounter of the third kind. This is where things get really interesting.
Now we're talking
Actual contact
with alien beings.
with alien beings. These are the stories that have fueled countless books
Absolutely.
and movies
And-
and late night discussions
and late night discussions
about the possibility of
life beyond Earth.
life beyond Earth. It's the stuff of science fiction.
It is.
But for the people who claim to have experienced it, it's anything but fiction. These are profound and life-altering events.
Yeah. And there are some truly captivating accounts out there
Oh, there are.
from all corners of the globe. Like the 1966 Westall incident in Australia,
Westall,
where
where
hundreds of students
hundreds of students
and teachers witnessed something strange landing in a field,
and a few
or the Polish farmer who claimed to have been abducted
abducted
by little green beings
little green beings
in the late 1970s.
in the late 1970s. These stories are so diverse
They are.
and sometimes outlandish as they may seem.
But they all contribute.
They do. To a growing body of anecdotal evidence. Yeah.
That suggests we may not be as alone as we once thought.
It's like each encounter
Adds another piece
adds another piece to this giant cosmic jigsaw puzzle.
to the cosmic jigsaw puzzle.
And while we may not have the complete picture yet,
The complete picture yet, but the more pieces we find, the clearer that image becomes.
right, and some of those pieces are particularly intriguing,
They are.
especially the ones that delve into the world,
The world of alien abductions.
alien abductions.
These are the stories that
These are the stories that
often evoke
the strongest reaction.
the strongest reaction.
From fascination to skepticism to disbelief.
Yeah, right. Abduction stories
Abduction stories.
are definitely where things get really juicy.
The things get really juicy.
I've got some chilling accounts to explore,
We did.
especially from the UK.
Especially from the UK.
Before we jump into those, let's start with one of the most famous cases. The abduction of Betty and Barney Hill
Betty and Barney Hill.
back in the early 1960s.
The early 1960s. This story really put alien abductions
They really did.
on the map.
They put it on the map.
What I find so compelling about this case is that it wasn't just a fleeting glimpse of a
Well-
UFO
Of a UFO in the night sky?
in the night sky. It was a prolonged and detailed encounter
It was.
that allegedly involved medical examinations, telepathic communication,
Wow.
and a journey aboard an alien craft.
Their story, regardless of whether you believe it or not, really brought that concept of alien abductions
Yeah,
into the public consciousness.
it did. And it set the stage
Yeah,
for countless other accounts to follow.
to follow. And as we delve into those accounts, we're going to start to notice some recurring themes
Yeah.
and patterns that raise some fascinating questions about
Yeah.
the nature of these experiences
Yeah.
and what they might tell us about the human psyche
The human psyche.
and the potential for non-human intelligence.
Okay, so buckle up, everybody, because
Yeah.
we're about to enter
For real.
the realm of the truly bizarre
Of the truly bizarre.
and unexplainable. From stories of levitating bedrooms
Levitating bedrooms.
to encounters with small gray beings with large black eyes.
Classics.
We're going to explore the world.
Alien abductions.
Alien abductions.
See what insights we can glean
We can glean.
from these often controversial accounts. Stay tuned.
So let's dive into some of these UK abduction accounts. Louise's experience in 1997, waking up, paralyzed, small gray beings in her room, levitated and subjected to what she perceived as medical experiments.
It's chilling.
It is.
That feeling of helplessness. You know, being completely at the mercy of unknown entities, it really taps into some primal fear.
It does.
And it's not just Louise's account. There are similar stories from all over the world.
Yeah, people describing strikingly similar experiences.
Paralysis, levitation,
medical examination.
It really is one of the most perplexing aspects of abduction narratives. This consistency of detail.
Yeah, across different cultures and time periods.
Exactly. Take Stefan, for instance. 2010. Taken to a mountaintop, saw a spaceship. Human-like beings.
So the setting is different.
The setting is different.
Some of the details are different.
Some of the details are different.
But the core elements.
But the core elements are the same.
Taken against his will, encountering non-human entities.
It's a recurring theme.
It is. And it's not just those two either. We've got Emily's story from 1981, Hooded Creatures Missing Time. And Miriam's account from 1987, also a medical examination.
On board a spaceship.
Aboard a spaceship.
Yeah.
It's like there's a blueprint.
A blueprint.
For these abduction stories.
Yeah.
A set of recurring themes that keep popping up again and again.
It really makes you wonder what could account for this consistency.
Yeah, well, what is it? Are we witnessing some kind of shared psychological phenomenon?
Right. Is it a collective unconscious?
A collective unconscious expressing itself through these narratives.
Or is there something more to it?
Right. That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
Are we creating these stories? Or are they being imposed upon us? Is it our imagination running wild? Or are we tapping into something real, something beyond our current understanding?
Yeah.
And I think this is where the gray archetype comes in.
The gray archetype,
These small gray beings, large black eyes. They've become so ubiquitous. In alien lore, they're practically the poster child for extraterrestrial encounters.
Right.
But how did this image become so ingrained in our collective psyche?
The gray archetype is a fascinating study in the power of cultural narratives.
Yeah.
And how they can really shape our perceptions. Is this image a product of genuine encounters? Or has it been so thoroughly disseminated through popular culture that it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy?
It's like a chicken or the egg thing. Did we invent the grays? Or did they somehow implant this image in our minds? Or is it a bit of both? A complex interplay of real experiences, cultural influences, and our own innate psychological tendencies. It makes you question the nature of reality itself.
It does, and that's where things get really interesting. Because while we may not have definitive proof of alien visitation, there are some compelling scientific developments that suggest we might not be alone in the universe.
Wait, really? I love when these deep dives take an unexpected turn. Tell me more.
Well, consider this. The universe is vast.
It is.
Almost unimaginably so.
It is.
Astronomers are constantly discovering new planets.
Yeah?
Many of which could potentially harbor life.
Okay, so more planets
When planets
equals more possibilities for life to emerge.
for possibilities. Exactly.
But how do we know if these planets are actually capable of supporting life?
That's where the study of extremophiles comes in.
Extremophiles.
These are organisms that thrive in extreme environments, right here on Earth.
Okay.
Boiling hot springs, frozen glaciers, highly acidic lakes.
Wow.
Their existence really expands our understanding of what constitutes a habitable environment.
Wow.
And it suggests that life might be far more adaptable and resilient than we previously thought.
So basically life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Even in the most unexpected places.
Precisely. If life can exist in such harsh conditions here on Earth,
Right.
it stands to reason that it could also exist in other seemingly inhospitable environments throughout the cosmos.
Okay.
And that's just one piece of the puzzle.
Oh, wow.
Scientists have also detected organic molecules,
Organic molecules.
the building blocks of life, in interstellar space.
Yeah.
They're analyzing telescope data, studying Martian soil samples, and even listening for radio signals from other civilizations.
So the search for extraterrestrial life is in full swing.
It is.
But if scientists are actively searching, does that mean they're taking these alien encounter stories more seriously now?
Not necessarily. While there's growing recognition that we might not be alone, the scientific community still approaches these anecdotal accounts with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Okay.
They're looking for concrete, verifiable evidence.
So they want hard data,
Hard data.
not just hearsay.
Not just hearsay. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
And I get that.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, though, right? If scientists are actively searching for aliens, maybe some of them have already found us.
It's a possibility we can't rule out.
Right.
But it's important to approach this topic with both curiosity and critical thinking.
Okay.
We need to be open to the possibility of the unknown, but also be rigorous in our evaluation of the evidence.
Right. We can't just blindly accept every story we hear, but we also shouldn't dismiss the possibility that something truly extraordinary might be happening.
It's a delicate balance.
It is a delicate balance. But even if we haven't definitively proven alien visitation, it's clear that these encounters, whether real or imagined, have a profound impact
They do.
on the people.
On the people
Experience
who
them.
experience them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine coming face to face with something completely outside your understanding of the world,
Right. It would challenge your
your beliefs,
your perception,
your perceptions.
even your sanity.
It would be life-altering.
It would. Some people report feelings of terror,
Terror,
others a sense of awe
awe, and wonder.
and wonder. Many struggle with the skepticism and ridicule they face from those who haven't had similar experiences.
That's right.
And it highlights the human element of this phenomenon.
The human element. Yes.
We're not just talking about distant objects in the sky
Distant objects in the sky.
or abstract scientific theories. We're talking about the very real impact these experiences have on people's lives and their understanding of reality.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what makes this topic so endlessly fascinating.
It really is.
It's not just about spaceships and aliens. It's about us, about what it means to be human in a universe that might be far stranger and more wondrous than we ever imagined.
It's a journey of discovery,
It is.
both outward and inward. And as we explore the possibility of alien life, we're also exploring the depths of our own consciousness, our capacity for wonder, and our ability to grapple with the unknown.
It's like we're looking through a telescope, trying to catch a glimpse of distant galaxies. But we're also looking in a mirror, reflecting on our own place in the grand scheme of things.
And perhaps in searching for other forms of life, we'll discover something even more profound. A deeper understanding of ourselves and our interconnectedness with all things.
I love how this conversation has taken us from ancient Roman sightings to modern scientific inquiries, from chilling abduction stories to thought-provoking philosophical questions. It's like we've embarked on a cosmic road trip,
The cosmic road trip.
exploring the vast landscape of human curiosity and our enduring fascination with the unknown.
And this road trip is far from over.
Yeah.
The quest to understand our place in the universe and the possibility of alien contact is a continuous exploration, a pursuit of knowledge that transcends generations.
It does. And as we continue this journey, we have to ask ourselves some really big questions.
Big questions.
What if alien contact did happen?
What if it did?
What would it mean for humanity?
That's a question that has fueled countless science fiction stories.
It has. We imagine these dramatic scenarios, spaceships descending from the heavens,
Right.
either to share their advanced knowledge or to conquer our planet.
It's either peace and enlightenment
Right.
or all-out intergalactic war.
Right. But what if the reality of alien contact is far more nuanced than we typically imagine?
That's certainly a possibility.
Okay.
The impact of such an encounter would depend on so many factors.
Right.
The nature of the aliens, their technology, their intentions,
Uh-huh.
and our own cultural context.
It wouldn't just be a simple case of, take me to your leader.
Take me to your leader.
No. There would be a process of
Communication.
communication, cultural exchange,
Cultural exchange.
and possibly even a reevaluation of our own place in the universe.
Precisely.
And it would force us to confront some fundamental questions about ourselves.
About ourselves.
What does it mean to be human?
What does it mean to be human?
What are our values?
What are our values?
And how do we define our place in the cosmos when we're no longer the only intelligent life form we know of?
It's mind-boggling to even contemplate.
It is. But I think what you're saying is the most significant impact of alien contact might not be technological or even political. It might be philosophical.
It might be philosophical.
It might force us to re-examine
Well,
our assumptions about life, the universe, and everything.
and it could trigger a profound shift in our collective consciousness.
Yeah.
A paradigm shift.
Wow, this is getting deep. It's amazing how something as seemingly out there as alien encounters can lead to such profound reflections on humanity and our place in the universe.
It is.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about a concept that's central to the question of alien life, the Fermi paradox.
A Fermi paradox?
It's a thought-provoking conundrum.
It is.
That essentially asks, if the universe is so vast and old, and presumably teeming with life, then where is everyone?
Where is everyone?
Why haven't we encountered any concrete evidence of extraterrestrial civilizations?
It's a real head-scratcher.
It is. The numbers just don't seem to add up.
They don't.
Billions of stars, billions of galaxies, and yet, so far, no definitive proof of anyone else out there.
Exactly. And this apparent contradiction has led to a variety of fascinating theories.
Okay.
Each attempting to explain why we haven't made contact yet.
Yeah.
Some suggest there's a great filter.
A great filter.
That prevents civilizations from reaching a certain level of technological advancement, possibly leading to self-destruction.
Oh, so basically, we're either alone or we're headed for a cosmic dead end.
Well, not necessarily. Other theories, like the zoo hypothesis.
The zoo hypothesis.
Propose that advanced civilizations are aware of us, but are choosing to observe us from a distance.
Okay, so maybe we're not alone. But we're not quite ready for prime time yet.
Not quite ready for prime time.
We're still in the cosmic kindergarten.
Cosmic kindergarten.
And the grown-ups are watching us from afar. And then there's the idea that our current technology and methods of searching for extraterrestrial life might be too limited.
Too limited?
Maybe we're simply not looking in the right places or listening on the right frequencies.
That's right.
So it's possible that alien civilizations are out there, but we're just not technologically advanced enough to detect them yet.
Exactly, like trying to tune into a radio station on the wrong wavelength.
On the wrong wavelength.
Yeah.
And this brings us back to the importance of scientific inquiry.
Yeah.
And the need to continually push the boundaries of our knowledge and understanding.
Absolutely.
The search for extraterrestrial life is a journey that demands both patience and perseverance.
It does.
This whole Fermi paradox really puts things into perspective.
It does.
It makes our little planet seem even smaller and more insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But at the same time, it also makes the question of alien life even more tantalizing.
More tantalizing.
If we are alone, that makes us incredibly special.
Incredibly special.
But if we're not, that opens up a whole universe of possibilities and potential connections.
It's a truly awe-inspiring thought, isn't it?
It is.
To imagine a universe teeming with life, diverse cultures, technologies, perspectives. It challenges us to expand our horizons, to embrace the unknown, and to consider the profound implications of encountering something truly other.
All right, well, I'm definitely feeling a sense of cosmic wonder right now.
Nah.
But before we get too carried away, let's bring the focus back to the human experience of alien encounters.
Okay.
We've talked about the physical and scientific aspects, but what about the psychological impact?
The psychological impact, that's a crucial aspect of this discussion.
It is.
And one that often gets overlooked. Regardless of whether these encounters are objectively real or not, experiences themselves are undeniably real to the individuals involved.
Right. We can't just dismiss people's experiences as hallucinations or delusions.
No, we can't.
We need to understand the psychological factors.
The psychological factors.
That might be at play, both in terms of perception and interpretation.
Absolutely. Our minds are complex and fascinating instruments.
They are.
They can be influenced by a multitude of factors.
Yeah.
Our beliefs and expectations, our cultural conditioning, our personal experiences.
So basically what we see and how we interpret it isn't always a straightforward reflection of objective reality.
Right.
Our minds can play tricks on us.
They can.
Especially when we're dealing with something as extraordinary and potentially paradigm shifting as an alien encounter.
Exactly. And that's where things get really interesting.
That's right.
Because to fully understand the phenomenon of alien encounters, we need to delve into the realm of psychology perception and the power of belief.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's explore that further. How do psychologists and researchers approach these experiences? What are some of the key insights they've uncovered about the human mind and our capacity to perceive and interpret the unknown? So we're talking about the psychology of alien encounters, you know, how our minds might be shaping these experiences.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin to unpack something like that?
Well, one area of research is the role of imagination.
Oh.
Our brains are incredibly powerful at conjuring up images and scenarios.
Yeah.
Especially when we're dealing with something as mysterious and unknown as extraterrestrial life.
Right, we've all had those moments where we think we see something out of the corner of our eye.
Yeah.
And then we realize it was just a trick of the light.
A trick of the light or a shadow.
Yeah, or a shadow. Our imaginations can run wild.
They can run wild, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you combine that with all the cultural narratives we've been exposed to.
The movies.
The books.
The TV shows about aliens.
It creates a fertile ground for misinterpretations and embellishments.
So basically what we think we see might be influenced by what we expect to see.
It's possible.
Like if we've grown up watching films about little gray aliens,
right,
we're more likely to perceive a shadowy figure in the night as an extraterrestrial visitor.
It's possible our brains are constantly trying to make sense of the world around us.
Yeah.
And they often rely on these shortcuts and assumptions to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
So if we're primed to believe in aliens, we might be more likely to interpret ambiguous sensory experiences as evidence of their presence.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the people who report more vivid and detailed encounters?
Right.
Like the abduction stories we discussed earlier. Surely those can't all be explained away by overactive imaginations.
That's where things get even more complex.
Okay.
While some cases might be attributed to misinterpretations or fantasy proneness, others point to deeper psychological mechanisms that we still don't fully understand.
Like what?
Well, for example, there's the phenomenon of sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Where people experience a temporary inability to move or speak while falling asleep or waking up.
Yeah, I've heard of that. It sounds terrifying.
It can be a very frightening experience, and you can imagine how someone experiencing that might feel like they're being held down.
By some unseen force.
By some unseen force, exactly. And during sleep paralysis, people often report hallucinations and a sense of presence, feeling like someone or something is in the room with them.
Right.
This could explain some of the more frightening aspects of abduction narratives, like the feeling of being paralyzed and unable to move.
So sleep paralysis could be a physiological explanation for some of the sensations people report.
It's a possible explanation, but not necessarily the whole story. Some researchers also believe that certain personality traits, like suggestibility and openness to new experiences, might also play a role in how people interpret these events.
So if someone is naturally more imaginative and open-minded, they might be more likely to have an alien encounter experience.
It's a hypothesis.
Okay.
It's not to say that these experiences aren't real or meaningful to the individuals involved, but it suggests that the human mind is a complex and often unreliable narrator.
Especially when dealing with something like alien encounters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like trying to piece together a puzzle where some of the pieces are missing and others might be from a different puzzle altogether.
It makes it so hard to separate fact from fiction.
It really does.
Or even to define what fact and fiction mean in this context.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to approach this topic with humility and an open mind, acknowledge the limitations of our current understanding, but also be open to the possibility that there might be phenomena at play that we simply haven't figured out yet.
It's like we're standing at the edge of a vast unexplored territory, and we're only just beginning to glimpse the strange and wondrous creatures that might inhabit it.
And as explorers, we need to be both cautious and curious, aware of the potential pitfalls of perception and interpretation, but also embracing the possibility that we might encounter something truly extraordinary, something that challenges our assumptions about reality itself.
It's a delicate balance.
It is a delicate balance.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes this topic so endlessly fascinating.
It is.
It's a journey of discovery.
A journey of discovery.
Both outward and inward.
Outward and inward.
And it requires us to question everything we think we know. About ourselves and the universe.
About ourselves and the universe we inhabit.
Well, this deep dive has been a whirlwind of information and speculation.
It has.
We've journeyed from ancient sightings to modern scientific pursuits, explored captivating abduction stories, and pondered the cultural and psychological impacts of this enduring mystery. And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
That's the beauty of it. It is the search for extraterrestrial life is an ongoing exploration, a quest that will continue to captivate and challenge us. for generations to come.
And it leaves us with a question that lingers. What do you believe? Are we alone in the universe? Or are there other beings out there waiting to be discovered?
That is the question.
It is the question.
It's one that deserves careful consideration.
It does.
And remember, the answer might not be as simple as a yes or no.
Right.
The universe is vast and full of mysteries.
It is.
We may never have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we should stop searching.
We should never stop searching.
Keep an open mind, stay curious, and who knows what incredible discoveries await us.
Well said. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to do some more research. This is one topic that never gets old.
It never gets old.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll see you next time. For another fascinating adventure into the world of ideas and discovery.